Welcome to our very first lecture on animal diversity. Today, we are going to explore a fascinating topic, dentition in mammals. You might just think of teeth as the things you brush every morning, but in the animal kingdom, they are the ultimate biological toolkit for survival. We will learn how mammals evolved highly specialized teeth, why this gives them a massive advantage over other animals, and how we can actually read an animal's evolutionary history just by looking at its mouth. Let us dive in. To understand why mammalian teeth are so special, imagine trying to eat a tough, thick steak using only a spoon, or trying to drink a bowl of soup with a fork. It would be incredibly frustrating and likely impossible. Why? Because you need the right tool for the specific job at hand. In the animal kingdom, mammals have evolved the ultimate built-in toolkit right inside their mouths to handle their food. This specialized setup is one of the main reasons mammals have been so incredibly successful at surviving all over the planet. Now that we understand the idea of a toolkit, let us compare mammals to other animals. Think about a crocodile or a shark. They have rows of identical, peg-like teeth. Those teeth are designed for one simple job: grabbing and holding on to prey. But mammals are different. Whether a mammal is chewing tough grass, cracking open hard nuts, or tearing into meat, its teeth are perfectly shaped and arranged for its specific diet. They have different shapes designed for cutting, tearing, crushing, and grinding. This highly specialized setup is what we call dentition. This brings us to the formal zoological definition of mammalian dentition, which is characterized by three major biological terms. The first and most important term is heterodont. The prefix hetero means different, and dont refers to teeth. So heterodont simply means that the teeth have different shapes and functions. Specifically, mammalian teeth are divided into four distinct categories: incisors for cutting, canines for tearing, and premolars and molars for crushing and grinding. This is the core of the toolkit concept we just discussed. Before we move on to the other terms, let us see this heterodont condition with a concrete visual example. Here you are looking at a typical mammalian skull. Notice the front teeth, labeled as incisors. These are flat and sharp for nipping and cutting. Right behind them is the canine, which is elongated and pointed, perfect for piercing and holding. Moving further back, we see the premolars, and finally, the molars at the very back of the jaw. These cheek teeth have complex, bumpy surfaces designed to crush and grind food into a fine paste. This diagram perfectly illustrates what it means to be heterodont. Now that we have seen the shapes of the teeth, let us look at how they are attached. The second major term is thecodont. Thecodont refers to the fact that mammalian teeth are not just sitting on the surface of the jaw. Instead, they are deeply and securely embedded in bony sockets within the jawbone itself. Think of a post buried deep into the ground, rather than just resting on top of it. This deep socketing provides immense structural strength, which is absolutely essential to withstand the massive forces generated during heavy biting and chewing. The third and final characteristic defining mammalian dentition is diphyodont. The prefix di means two. This means that mammals typically develop exactly two sets of teeth during their entire lifetime. When a mammal is young and its jaw is small, it grows a temporary set, known as deciduous or milk teeth. As the animal matures and its jaw grows larger, these milk teeth fall out and are replaced by a larger, permanent adult set. Together, being heterodont, thecodont and diphyodont defines a highly advanced dental structure entirely unique to the mammalian class. So we have defined what mammalian dentition is, but why does this specific arrangement matter so much in the real world? The answer comes down to energy, metabolism, and digestion. Mammals are warm-blooded creatures. This means they require a massive amount of energy just to keep their bodies warm. To get this energy, they must extract nutrients from their food as quickly as possible. By having specialized teeth, mammals can mechanically break down their food into very small pieces before swallowing. This increased surface area drastically speeds up the chemical digestion process in the stomach and intestines, allowing them to maintain their high metabolic rates. Because teeth are so closely tied to an animal's survival and diet, they are incredibly important to scientists. We use this concept in paleontology and wildlife biology every single day. Teeth are the hardest parts of the vertebrate body, meaning they fossilize exceptionally well. Simply by looking at the shape and wear of a single fossilized tooth, scientists can determine exactly what an extinct mammal ate, how it lived, and even what its surrounding environment looked like millions of years ago. Teeth are quite literally biological time capsules. To easily compare the teeth of different mammals, biologists use a mathematical shorthand known as the dental formula. This formula acts like a biological blueprint. Let us look at the equation. Capital N represents the total number of teeth in the mammal's mouth. Inside the parentheses, the variables I, C, P, and M stand for incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. The subscript U means we are counting the teeth on exactly 1/2 of the upper jaw, and the subscript L means 1/2 of the lower jaw. We add all these together to get the teeth on one side of the face. Finally, we multiply the entire sum by 2, because mammals have bilateral symmetry, meaning the left and right sides of the jaw are identical. If a variable decreases to 0, it means the animal lost that tooth type through evolution. Now that we have our formula, let us see this with a concrete example by calculating the total teeth in an adult human. We are given the human dental formula, which is commonly written as 2123 over 2123. The top numbers represent the upper jaw, and the bottom numbers represent the lower jaw. We substitute these specific numbers into our general equation. For the upper jaw, we have 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars, and 3 molars. We have the exact same count for the lower jaw. Following the standard order of operations, we first add all the numbers inside the parentheses. This gives us 16, meaning there are exactly 16 teeth on one side of the human face. Multiplying this by 2 accounts for both sides, giving us a final answer of 32 total teeth. Before we look at another animal, let us interpret the final answer we just calculated. We found that humans have 32 teeth, but more importantly, look at the distribution. Humans have a relatively balanced number of all 4 types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. This mathematical balance biologically proves our dietary nature. It shows that humans are omnivores. We have the cutting and tearing tools needed for meat, alongside the crushing and grinding tools needed for plant matter. Our dentition is perfectly equipped for a highly varied diet. Let us apply our formula to a completely different animal, a cow. The cow's dental formula is 0033 over 3133. Notice the zeros for the upper incisors and upper canines. We extract these counts and plug them into our total teeth equation, carefully maintaining the strict order of tooth types. We place the upper jaw numbers first, followed by the lower jaw numbers inside the parentheses. Adding the numbers inside the parentheses, we get 16. Interestingly, despite having a completely different arrangement and missing several front teeth, the sum on one side of the face is still 16. Multiplying by 2 leads to a total of 32 teeth, which happens to be the exact same total as a human. So the cow has 32 teeth, just like us, but the arrangement tells a completely different evolutionary story. The zeros in our formula represent the complete absence of incisors and canines on the upper jaw. In real life, this empty space is replaced by a tough, leathery dental pad. The cow uses its lower teeth to crop tough grass against this upper pad. Furthermore, the heavy emphasis on the premolars and molars perfectly illustrates a specialized herbivorous diet. For a cow, grinding tough plant fibers is the primary goal, so the back teeth are far more important than the front ones. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us review our key takeaways. First, mammalian dentition is a highly evolved, specialized system that acts as a biological toolkit for processing food. Second, we learned the 3 defining traits: heterodont, meaning different shapes; thecodont, meaning deep sockets; and diphyodont, meaning 2 sets of teeth. Third, this specialization allows mammals to efficiently extract maximum energy to support their warm-blooded metabolism. Finally, the dental formula provides a simple mathematical way to quantify this diversity, allowing us to instantly deduce an animal's diet and evolutionary adaptations. Understanding this concept is fundamental to grasping how mammals have successfully conquered almost every ecosystem on Earth. Great job today!